Alright, so even though it wasn't the end of the training cycle, I felt pretty good today, and so decided to put some weight on the bar. Hip flexors felt really good today, so decided to go for some weight. Last time I had maxed, gone heavy at least, it wasn't all the way to the top. Probably what I could have done that day was 570, and I worked up to 585 today. Let me pull this forward. I've been working on holding the bar a little lower and pulling my elbows underneath. So I'm also wearing some Olympic shoes. Fairly narrow stance. I'm going to let this play through once. So it was a pretty good rep. It was a little high. I think that it's more weight than I've ever tried to squat before, so let me pull this back. It's a little hard to see from the camera angle because of how high it is. So here's bottom. I have a couple things that I noticed about this rep. First thing I noticed is how far out in front. One second, let me get these in the right spots. Try that again. So here we go. So that's about where we are. Notice how far out in front of my toes my knees are here, and how the angle of my shin is very vertical. Now when I was doing these reps, I felt as though when I pushed my knees forward, especially with the Olympic lifting shoes, I had a lot of strain on my quads, my lower quads, which actually felt stronger rather than a wide stance. I'm going to be playing around with it, but my knees forward like this really felt good and felt like I had strong power out of the bottom. Also, as far as depth goes, let's see here. Right about there. I'm pretty close. I'm not that worried about depth. My hip crease is in there somewhere. It's hard to see with a shirt. Next time I go heavy, I'm definitely going to wear my singlet so I can see this a little better. I mean, if we're talking top of the knee, though, that's right about there. I'm feeling okay about depth. I can always go a little lower. However, when I come out of this, if you look at my hips kind of, there's a little bit of tuck, but my weight's forward too much. I'd have to say weighted a little too forward on my big toes on the front. And so my whole weight shifts backwards as I come back out of the squat, where my knees go laterally and my hips go laterally as well before I start coming up. It'd be a lot better if I could hold my knees, as you look down here at the corner, right about there in the squat, rather than letting them come forward those last 2 inches. Right there is, I'm losing a lot of power backwards instead of up into the bar. My lower back was really strong, no issues there, and my lockout comes out really well at the top. My sticking point in the middle comes because I think with my knees that far forward, I lose power out of the bottom, and so I may try to externally rotate a little bit more. All in all, for 8 weeks out from competition to hit 585, I'm pretty happy about that. I don't know if 605 is going to go for the competition, but I'm hopeful. I need to work on some form and play around with my stance. I also may start lifting in some flatter shoes. The heel on these Olympic lifting shoes is about 1.5 inches. So that's a pretty extreme heel lift. But really happy with the lift today. 585 has been a goal for me. I think I was a little high, at least for USAPL, but pretty close nonetheless. I wish to get a lower camera angle next time to make sure and be in the singlet so we can see that hip crease a little bit better and see if I'm making depth. So thanks for Eddie. Eddie's over there spotting me. He's rooting me on. He's a good guy. And thanks for watching.